Good evening. My name is Father Rayappa. Today I'm going to talk about uh, planet Earth and its resources. And people have plundered its resources. So I think it is a misunderstanding that richness lies outside, and the fulfillment and the satisfaction and truth, everything is outside. That was a delusion. But actually, everything is within you. Jesus says the kingdom of God is within you. So that is the truth. So it is. You should look for everything in the inner dimension of yourself. So that is a starting point to find happiness and fulfillment, and where you find truth. So we have been misplaced our attention in a wrong realm. So that is the root cause for our ecological crisis. Anyway, this YouTube I want to give a title: Stop Digging Earth, Start Digging Within You. Okay? Stop digging earth. It's already in dilapidated condition. But you better dig within you. That is terra incognita. We don't know what lies there deep within the heart of our humanity. So there are a lot of resources. Planet Earth, we know what planet Earth is having inside. We already brought them out and exhausted, but within ourselves there are volcanoes, there are riches that one could offer to the earth. So instead of taking from the earth, we now give to the earth. So that is the underpinnings of stop digging earth and start digging within you. No matter what part of the planet we look, we see scars across the surface created by human activity. We are digging everywhere, looking for natural resources, mines, tunnels, oil wells, and we disfigure the face of the earth by removing mountains and forests. We regard earth as a thing, a commodity, a big thing, an object to be owned, mined, fenced, guarded, stripped, built upon, dammed, plowed, burned, blasted, bulldozed and melted to serve the material needs and desires of the human species, at the expense, if necessary, of all other species which we feel at liberty to kill, paralyze, or to domesticate for our own use. In the capitalist system, it is assumed that natural resources or income or revenue rather than capital. The fact that we call them resources shows that we consider them objects to be owned and used. This form of species arrogance has received little scrutiny. Yet we are not satisfied. Ephemeral wealth can never satisfy because our human desires are unlimited. In fact, ephemeral wealth causes more pain and suffering. The real problem with us is that we no longer see the world as a single entity. We have moved to cities and we think the economy is what gives us our life. That if the economy is strong, we can afford garbage collection and sewage disposal and fresh food and water and electricity. We go through life thinking that money is the key. to having whatever we want without regard to what it does to the rest of the world. The problems we face today, pollution, depletion of resources, deforestation, erosion and so on and so forth, are human created problems which can be resolved through human effort, understanding, and the development of a sense of brotherhood and sisterhood. We need to cultivate a universal responsibility for one another and the planet we share. Right now, in many ways, people's happiness, people's peace, people's love is mortgaged to the external resources or natural resources. Since it is mortgaged in external resources, they are never going to be happy or truly peaceful. All those people who depend on external resources to be happy will never know true joy in their lives, because no matter what you can buy or own will never satisfy you. Therefore, it is time people went deeper into themselves. We are spending too much of our energy to own external resources, but miseries have come along with them. It is just these overambitious fools who, in absolute unawareness, went about plundering Earth's resources and slaughtering every other life form that existed on this planet, thinking that they are going to create human well-being. That human well-being is still a dream. After thousands of years of civilization, after thousands of years of looting and slaughtering so many other animal forms, and sometimes our own race, still human well-being is far, far away. We are no closer to it than we were 10,000 years ago. With all the science and technology, we have altered the external situation very much, but still we are no closer to human well-being. It is definitely time that we look inward and see how to create it. From your own experience of life, you can clearly see that true well-being will come to you only if you look interior, deep within you. Right now, the quality of your life is not being decided by the clothes that you wear, or the educational qualification that you carry, or what family background you come from, or what bank balance you hold. This moment, the quality of your life is simply decided by how peaceful and joyful and how joyous you are right now within yourself. That is all that decides the quality of life. The quality of life is determined by the realization of your inner spiritual dimension, which is called bliss. Most people misunderstand pleasure and bliss. You can never sustain pleasure. It always falls short of you. But blissfulness means it is not dependent upon anything. Pleasure is always dependent on something or somebody. Blissfulness does not really need any external stimulus as such. Once you are in touch with it, you will know that all your needs were actually a childish attempt to become blissful. When you are blissful, it is absolute. Blissfulness is not something that you earn from outside. It is something that you dig for deep into yourself and find. It is like digging a well. When it is raining, If you open your mouth and wait for raindrops to fall into your mouth, a few of them may get inside, but still it is quite frustrating to quench your thirst by opening your mouth in the rain, and the rain is not going to last forever. It lasts an hour or two or three and then it is over. That is the reason why you dig your own well, so that you have water throughout the year. So, whatever you are referring to as true bliss is just this. You draw water from your own inner well. It sustains you all the time. It is not something like opening your mouth in the rain. No. All the time you have water within you. That is bliss. External resources or natural resources can give you pleasure, but your inner resources of compassion, humility, empathy, etc., can give you bliss. Encounter. The Enlightened, that is the book written by Sadhguru Jagi Vasudev, and in that book he discusses this issue of pleasure and blissfulness. In Colossians chapter 3, verse 12, St. Paul writes as follows: Since God chose you to be the holy people He loves, you must clothe yourself with tender-hearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. These are human resources more valuable than natural resources that we dig out from the earth. We need to stop digging the earth and start digging for human resources. That is eternal wealth, which will bring lasting peace to the world. Earth and mankind constitute for just one reality. In fact, we human beings are the earth itself that feels, thinks, loves, and venerates. We have the same origin and the same destiny. We don't need outside sources to satisfy human wants, because satisfaction is already wired within human DNA makeup. Mercy and compassion can show tender regard to creation and can limit our desire to procure unlimited natural resources at the destruction of the planet. Kindness put into act and exercise can stop our unbridled way of consumption in order to leave adequate resources to the developing countries some scope of expanding their necessities. Over-affluent societies should reduce their per capita resource consumption at least 80%, so that everyone can share the earth's resources in the equitable and sustainable way. The result would be a rough parity between the poor and rich at levels of material affluence that both meet basic human needs and are ecologically sustainable. In other words, of the popular slogan, the rich must learn to live more simply so the poor can simply live. There are two economies. One of material goods, that is external resources, depends on external resources. And another one is one of spiritual goods, which depends on inner resources. The two are governed by different logic. In the economy of material goods, The more one gives away goods, clothes, houses, land, and money, the less one has. One who gives imprudently and squanders recklessly ends up in poverty. By contrast, in the economy of spiritual goods, when more is given, more is received. When one gives away more, one has more. That is to say, when you give more love, empathy, and compassion, your inner resources, you gain more as a person and you grow in the opinion of others. Good opinion of others. Spiritual goods are like love. When they are divided, they multiply. Or like fire, as it expands, it grows. We understand this paradox by considering the basic structure of the human being. The human being is of unlimited relationships. The more one relates, extends oneself towards the other. The different nature and God, that is to say, one who is more welcoming and loving becomes richer, more adorned with values, grows more and shines as a person. In this context, one hears the inspiring prayer for peace of St. Francis. It is by giving that we receive. Invoked to justify the exchange of favors and support amid the torrent of money, it is a crass manipulation of the generous and selfless spirit of the saint of Assisi. But let's put aside these diversions and look at its true meaning. Someone of means who gives material goods, following the logic of spiritual goods, to help those who lost everything and to help them remake their lives and their homes, experiences the inner satisfaction of being with the one who needs and can give witness to what St. Paul would say, it is more blessed to give than to receive. Acts of the Apostles chapter 20 verse 35. One is not poor, feels spiritually rich. Thus, there exists a circular relationship between giving and receiving. Their true reciprocity. This represents, in the greatest sense, the very logic of the universe, as biologists and astrophysicists tirelessly emphasize. Everything, galaxies, stars, planets, inorganic and organic beings, down to the elemental particles, everything is structured in the interconnected net of inter-retro relations amongst everything. All coexist, interexist, mutually help each other, reciprocally give and receive what they need to exist and to co-evolve within a subtle dynamic equilibrium. Our tragedy is that we learn nothing from nature. We take everything from the earth and give her nothing in return, not even the time needed for her to rest and regenerate. We only receive and give nothing back. This lack of reciprocity has brought the earth to its present disequilibrium. Along with the natural capital that guarantees our material well-being, must come spiritual capital. The spiritual capital that secures those values without which we cannot live humanly, such as goodwill, cooperation, compassion, tolerance, just measure the limits of desire, the essential caring and love. Therefore, it is by giving that we receive. Often we receive more than we have given. We need to also disembowel tendencies that are also present in our minds solidarity, compassion, caring, communion, and loving. Such values and inner powers can lay the foundation of a new paradigm of civilization. The civilization of the humanity reunited in the common house on the planet Earth. To live such dimensions means to live the true human spirituality. And this spirituality is not the monopoly of religions or churches, but the deepest dimensions of the human being. By means of it, we can perceive that all things in the universe are not just juxtaposed, but inter and retro connected. One link connects and reconnects everything, consisting of the sacred unity of the universe. This secret link is the primitive source of all being. It is what all religions call God. Ecology, therefore, is the relationship among all living beings and between living beings and the non-living world. It is fundamentally the science of relationships. So if you find that relationship, you will have less taste for exploiting Mother Earth. Rather, you will give to Mother Earth. Enough we have taken from the Mother Earth and we didn't give back anything. So it is time to look deep within of ourselves and find rich resources and take them and give to Earth, and Mother Earth will 100% benefit. Take it easy and have a nice day. Good night.